I wanted to tell you a little bit about Yellow Rattle, Rhinanthus minor. It's an unusual plant because it's an annual, so nearly all other wildflower meadow species are perennials. And it's also unusual because it parasitizes grasses. So its root system attaches itself to grass roots and consequently it enfeebles the grasses around it. Now why this is important is because particularly currently when you're trying to establish meadows in fertile soils, you need to really knock the grasses back. Even if they're just meadow grasses, it's really helpful to improve the diversity of the wildflowers in the sward by reducing their vigour. Rattle doesn't make the grasses look ill or anything like that. It just kind of reduces their growth. So, you know, grass that under normal circumstances might be 2-3 foot tall is only going to grow to around a foot. So super advantageous for the development of the sward. I do know a lot of wildflower meadows that don't have rattle, but as I say, particularly for more fertile soils, it's really invaluable. There are one or two sort of basic ideas that you need to get into your head about establishing yellow rattle. Sometimes people do say to us, "Oh, you know, it's failed. What's gone wrong?" And it can fail. The main reasons for rattle failure are quality of seed. So it has very short-term viability. It has to be this season's seed. That's the first issue. Secondly, it can get waterlogged. The seed can rot in the ground. Thirdly, it needs to get cold for a sustained period to trigger germination. So it has to be sown between September and really the end of December. I have seen people saying it's got to be sown in September. That's not true. It can be sown over that extended period, but it does need to get cold to germinate. And sometimes it can just get overwhelmed by vigorous grasses or grasses growing in super fertile soil. So you know, that can be problematic too. But if you follow the basic sowing techniques that we're going to outline, then that's going to significantly improve the chances of success. So preparation for sowing your rattle. The first thing to do is to cut the existing sward really short, really scalp it, and scarify it, or on a larger scale run a chain harrow over it, and that's going to open up the thatch so that you're making sure that the seed comes into direct contact with the soil. So that's the first thing to do. Secondly, as I mentioned earlier, September to December sowing window. When you get your rattle, we recommend sowing at 1 gram a square metre. It's a pretty expensive seed because it's difficult to process actually. If your budget doesn't allow you to sow over the whole site, then establish patches of it and it will spread over the years. Don't worry about that. So hand broadcast, you can bulk it out with sand if you like, because 1 gram a square metre is not a lot of seed. And then after you've broadcast, either give it a light roll or just tread it in very lightly just to make sure that the seed's in good contact with the soil. It's windborne, as you'll see the little kind of windborne discs, so you do need to make sure that it's in good contact with the soil. Then keep the sward cut over the winter months, and then stop in March to make sure you don't decapitate the new rattle seedlings. And you'll be able to see them coming through. There are lots of images of those seedlings on the website. So here I am in part of the meadow that's absolutely awash with rattle, and this has spread naturally over the last 2-3 years. And I don't know if you can hear them, but I'm surrounded by bumblebees here, and it's great to see the diversity of plants also improving as a consequence of the grass getting knocked back. The rattle itself is just coming into seed. Some still in flower, some is coming into seed. So this is a great example really of how rattle can add diversity to a meadow, and you can absolutely see the way that the grasses have been knocked back here as well. So I'm super bullish about this area, and the plant will spread now over the rest of the grass. Yeah, no, great, love it.